Welcome everyone to our How to Get Media Attention for Your Brand workshop. During this workshop, we're going to be dialing in on how you can get media exposure for what it is you're currently building. This is an incredible opportunity for you to see and explore ways in which you can get visibility for free. All of what you're doing is media. Many of us don't believe that what we're building is actually like media worthy. We might not feel that we have something to blast that people need to know of all around the world, but it's true. If you don't share what you're doing, how will anyone know? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to get started with this presentation. This is a type of attitude I want us to all have as we're working on getting visibility for what it is we're building. No one else can do exactly what we can do in the same way that we're doing it. That's one of the biggest reasons why we need to dial in ways in which we can get seen. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to deliver this particular workshop today. My name is Dr. Peace Uchet, also known as Doc Peace. I'm a doctor by trade and a spoken word poet. I'm also a brand awareness strategist and creative strategy consultant. My goal is to help you increase brand authority and visibility on what it is that you're building as you're building it. There's no need to wait till the house is already built and ready to go. You can actually start getting visibility as you're building. And that's something I really want to hone in on for everyone here today. Before I was Doc Peace, I was Dr. Peace Uchet, working as a pharmacist full-time. If you were to Google my name, all you would find was LinkedIn, my LinkedIn pharmacist profile. I had absolutely no presence as a spoken word poet, as a brand strategist. I had absolutely no presence because I had not taken the time to get media attention. I was shifting careers. I have now been featured in Forbes, Yahoo Finance, ArtNet News, CoinDesk twice. To say the least, this would not have happened if I didn't take the steps that I'm going to share with you today to get featured on those platforms. Today's agenda is to first dial in why media attention matters. Secondly, we're going to show how to get media attention. And then I'm also going to show you some media alternatives as well. Why is it so important to get media attention for your brand? I'm going to take you back to when I was at one of the big major conferences, and I was speaking on this stage. And I remember someone close to me asking, how did you get on this stage? How did you get an opportunity to speak on this platform? I've been trying to get on this platform. I've been auditioning. I've been pitching. I've been doing all the things to get on this platform, and I haven't been able to do so yet. How did you do it? The biggest thing that I was able to share with this person is that there's two ways to get on these big platforms, the NFT NYC, the NFTLA, and other big platforms. I'm talking a lot about the NFT space because that's a space I've been in for the last year, and I know many of us have been as well. But there's so many other larger platforms outside the Web3 space. How do you get on those platforms? How do you build up to this point where now you get seen by hundreds of people, and you get heard, and you get these opportunities to connect? The biggest way in which you can do so, there's actually two. The first is to pay for those time slots, is to pay for that visibility. I know there's a lot of conferences in which people pay thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be seen on these platforms. And I know this for a fact because there was a particular stage in which I spoke at, and the way I was able to do so was because someone got sick. Someone got sick and I filled in that gap. But the person who got sick and paid for that time slot, they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for that particular position. And so unless you're sponsored or unless your brand is rolling in the money, it might be difficult for you to get to that position where you can pay for those time slots. The second way in which you can get visibility, and in fact, you can get on these stages and gain massive visibility, is to get media attention for your brand. It's to have a media presence. It's to have a presence online so that when your name or when your brand is Googled, things will show up. Because believe it or not, when those stakeholders are searching for people to have on their stages. They're definitely doing a Google search. They're looking to see what this particular person has to offer. What kind of community have they built out? Are people already like Googling them? Are people already connected? Do people even know who this person is? And if the answer is no, then they might not want to have you on their massive stage. And so this is why it's so important to, from the very beginning, dial in your media presence so that you show up when someone Googles your name. And even if you're not looking to speak on stages, there could be opportunities in terms of working with clients, big clients, or collaboration opportunities in which someone might Google your name and want to know more about you outside of your website, outside of your social media. And if there's no media presence, if no one's talking about you in the third sense, like if it's not just you talking about yourself, then there's no credibility. There's a lack of credibility. So this is just a couple reasons why media attention matters. More eyes equal more eyes. The more eyes you get, the more eyes you get. The more visibility you get, the more it's a ripple effect. So the more people see you, the more and more people see you, and it just becomes this exponential growth for you and your brand. And it all starts with getting that first article and the next article, and getting that, building that media exposure makes more people actually want to cover you. Go figure. So the first way to get media attention is to make a golden media blast. Many people might know this as a press release. I call it a golden media blast. And the way in which you're going to do so is to understand that everything that you do in your business can be newsworthy if you say it in the right way. Something that people will actually not only want to read, but will actually get approved on various press release platforms. I have a whole template that I've created for you all today on how to craft a press release that will get approved and will go out on press release platforms. Press releases allow you to officially showcase what you've got going on. As soon as you put out a press release, it becomes official. It's more than just an advertisement on your social media page. It's an official document that showcases what you're going on, what you have going on. And secondly, press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. Did you know that? Did you know that press releases can get picked up by larger platforms? You can put out your own press release and other larger platforms can see that press release and then push it out on their own platform. This is something that can't be done on social media. Yes, you can share what you have going on and others can share it on their platforms, but this takes it to a whole nother level. It becomes a global way for you to share an official document of what you have going on. And what's so important here is that you're actually writing it. You don't have to wait for some other media journalist to come around and say, hey, can I showcase what you have going on? No, you are actually showcasing what you have going on your own. So not only is it an official showcase, other larger platforms can feature you, but it also sets you up to create a Wikipedia. So I know this might not be something that you thought of in the past, but I want you all to think about this for the future. If you're growing your brand to the point people actually know who you are, then having a Wikipedia should be something that's on your brain. When you're creating your Wikipedia, it has to be an official document. And it can't be a press release that you put out yourself. It has to be a press release that's been put out or pushed out by a larger platform. So this is why it's important to that second point that I shared. Press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. So you can showcase what you have going on, and it could be an official document. And it can't be a press release that you put out yourself. It has to be a press release that's been put out or pushed out by a larger platform. So this is why it's important to that second point that I shared. Press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. So you can showcase what you have going on. And it could be anything from as small as, oh, I'm hosting a workshop. I'm hosting a workshop on this particular day. And you say all the details of what that workshop entails. Again, it needs to be newsworthy information. You holding a workshop is newsworthy information if you word it in the right way. So now you have all of this documentation of what you've done. You have that you've hosted this workshop, that you spoke on this platform, that you built this particular tool, that you've launched this particular product, that you've created this particular animation piece, and it's all officially documented in a press release. And then that press release has been picked up by bigger news media platforms, so it's even more official. And then you can create a wiki that goes through the timestamp of the growth of your brand. So this is something to get really excited about, because press releases, you make them yourself, and then it has the potential to get picked up by bigger brands. So this can give you massive media exposure, especially if you're doing this on a continuous basis. And the kicker here is that it's free. It's free to push out your own press release. Yes, there's certain things that you can pay for to expand that exposure, but initially you can just start pushing out press releases for free. And the template that I have to share with you will guide you through on how to create an effective press release. And it'll also include an example of a press release that I've crafted in the past. It got picked up by a bigger outlet. So this actually works, and I'm really excited for you to try it for your brand as well. So just a couple points on how to create this press release before we go on to the second way in which you can get media attention for your brand. It needs to be newsworthy information. It cannot be pitchy. It has to be uniquely worded, meaning that no other piece of information or content out there is worded in the same way. It can't be a copy and paste type of thing. It can't have all caps, which is also called hype text. We see that a lot on social media. Can't have exclamation marks, and it needs to be written in a journalistic style. So it needs to be very matter of fact in the third person. So this is happening on this date. This is what's happening. This is the information that will be shared on this particular date, and this is how you can join. And again, the template that I have to share with you will give you a step-by-step way on how to craft your press release, where to go submit that press release, and an example of a past press release that I've not only submitted, got approved, but also got picked up by a larger media outlet. The next way in which you can get media attention for your brand, number 2, is to pitch directly to media. Now we're going to go over how you can actually pitch directly to journalists. This is a platform called Help a Reporter Out, or HARO. HARO connects journalists who are seeking expertise from experts like you and me to create their content. They're looking for sources. You go to this platform, create a login, select I'm a source, you create your profile, and then you would immediately get pushed out emails, 3 emails a day that you get Monday through Friday, with opportunities to get featured like in these massive articles. For example, Fox was in one on Friday. Fox News was looking one on Friday. Fox News was looking for information on a particular piece of content, and they're looking for sources that had that information. You'll be taken to a screen like this. This is the most important part, the HARO preferences. This is essentially where you tell HARO what you're specialized in. This master HARO signs you up for all of them. So if you click Master HARO, you'll start getting emails from journalists asking for sources. They're asking for your expertise so that they can use you as a source. This is an incredible way to get featured in media for your particular expertise. Okay. I want to share with you an example of an email from HARO. It's Monday afternoon edition, because again, they have multiple editions that go out throughout the day. They break it down into the different topics. I'm going to scroll through. And then in the parentheses, you can also see the platform that is actually looking for that source. You can scroll down and again and see these major platforms. There's so many different topics and a lot of big platforms that are looking for experts. Let's look at Squarespace website owner to share opinion on the website builder, right? Many of us have probably used Squarespace. So they're looking for someone like you or me who's used this platform to share their opinion on Squarespace. And you can see that the particular journalist who's asking for this, her name's Emma. You can see her email. Now you can email out a pitch sharing your expertise. And you can also see what it is that she's asking for. So you would respond to this pitch answering all these questions. Once she reviews what you've pitched, and if it's in alignment with what it is that she's looking for, then she would feature you in website builder expert is that media outlet specifically. So you'd get an immediate feature in this website builder expert platform. How easy is that? And so if you were to receive these emails, a couple of them a day, and you were to pitch at least one of these journalists a day, imagine how much massive exposure you would get for your brand. And again, this is a free platform. So those are two massive free ways in which you can get media attention for your brand: creating your own press releases and then pitching journalists who are looking for experts like you to be featured on their platform. Once they email you back saying, yes, I would love to feature you, you can make that direct connection with that source. There's been so many times where I've pitched out a pitch to a particular journalist, and then they've come back to me directly asking me specifically for my expertise. So they didn't want to go through Haro anymore. They don't need to go through Haro. They know that they already found the experts, so they just reach out directly to you. So you can make that connection with a specific journalist so you can get featured regularly, on their media platforms. I want to take the time to go over some media alternatives. There are three main media alternatives. Many of us are familiar with stages, like virtual and in-person stages. And if stages have a marketing budget, they're marketing for you. So this is an important question to ask when you say yes to speak on a stage. If it's a small stage, as long as there's a marketing budget, not only do you get that practice and opportunity to speak to a new audience, but you also get free publicity. So that's something to keep in mind. When it comes to podcasts are evergreen content. So they will forever exist. Even after the podcast stops taping, your podcast episode will forever exist on Spotify or YouTube or whatever platform that podcast went on. So that's something to keep in mind. That's massive exposure because you're on somebody else's platform. If someone Googles you, you will show up because you've been featured on that podcast. Twitter Spaces could be evergreen as well if the space is recorded. When I led a space with Lauren Turton, we would record those spaces and push them out as podcasts as well. So there's a lot of potential there with podcasts, Twitter Spaces, and in-person virtual stages as well. One thing that I really enjoy, though, is blogs. Blogs don't require you to show up in real time, and they feature your expertise. They may be more personable than larger media outlets, depending on your relationship with the host. Start looking into being featured on blogs because of that personability of the blogs and the ability for you to show up in your own time. Let's Blow Gold Inner Circle is a platform that I built out to house your profile on our platform, letsflowgold.io. We have 100 plus monthly visitors, so you're getting immediate eyes on what it is you're building. You get featured in our blogs. One mistake I made when I was first starting out was that I wasted time building my website. No visitors came because I had no established media presence and no leads. So this solves the problem of obscurity from the very beginning. You get immediate eyes, continuous exposure, workshop style meetings to help develop these media pitches, your outreach strategy, and all of the components of building a media presence. That leads us to our last slide here. We've gone over a lot today, but I want to make sure that you get the opportunity to get the Golden Blast template to create your press releases and start getting featured on other people's platforms. So all you have to do is go to bit.ly/media blast, or if you have your phone handy, you can take a picture of that QR code. But again, it's bit.ly/media blast. So you can get that template and start building that press release to get media exposure.
Hey everyone, my name is Mel, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I want to start by thanking the awesome ladies at Audacity for giving me the opportunity to have this session and share a little bit about my journey with all of you. Let's get started. So this session is titled Life's Palette of Healing and Hope, because if I had to give a title to my Web3 and art journey experience, that's what I would call it. I hope that through this session and by sharing some of my personal experiences that I am able to help the other artists out there. So here are 3 things about me. The first image is what you'll see as my profile picture on most social media platforms. And I think it captures really well the person I am on the inside. I'm a very private person, and so you won't see a lot of photographs of me on social media. I think that Web3 has helped me open up a little bit more and connect with more people and kind of share more about myself that I just wouldn't in the past. As a person who is very reserved and quiet, um, someone who suffers from anxiety, I think it has really helped me push myself and come out of that bubble. The second photo is my little family. We took this photo in front of the waterfall at Expo 2020, which is in Dubai. So that just tells you where I'm based and located. It's my home and a place that I love and feel very safe at. Um, Dubai is a place that has people of so many diverse backgrounds and cultures come together. And so uh, I think that is one of the best parts about being in a place like this. And the third photo over here is when I took a group of students to Greece for an international trip. So that just tells you that I'm also an educator. Um, and I think a lot of what I do as an educator is also kind of it seeps into my everyday life as well. And so my goal today is to share with you some of the reasons why I create art and to show you that there's so much that goes into creating art and how it can really help you become a more well-rounded individual and the different perspectives that it allows you to see. Um, I think it's most important that the art that you're creating, the process that you're going through, that you're enjoying it and you're having fun with it. Because if it is not fun, if you're not enjoying the process, then you're not going to like what you create, at least for me. Um, Again, being a private and reserved person, an introvert, I call myself a social introvert, if you may. It's sometimes really hard for me to express my feelings into words. And so art really helps me with that. And I'll show you some examples of that later on. I am obsessed with dreams. I have been obsessed with dreams since I was younger. I like psychoanalyze them. I have a book of dreams that I often refer to. And so I used to suffer from nightmares when I was younger, but somehow bad dreams can make really cool art. I also use art to meditate and calm my nerves. And I wish I learned that sooner because it would have helped with a lot of difficult years of my life. And then finally, my ultimate goal is to become a full-time artist. We're not quite there yet, but here's hoping that the art that I create now kind of help build my portfolio. Oh yeah, so here are two pieces that I created just to kind of remind myself that not every piece of art is created to make a sale. So the first one over here is something that I created when I was going through a time when, just like many other artists, I wasn't making a lot of sales. This is Web3. And so I didn't mince this one. I created it just to tell myself, hey, you know you're good, believe in yourself, create something for fun. The second one, and as you go through some of the pieces, you'll see that this is a very different color palette for me. And so this one, again, was not created for sales. It was a free mint. And it's just to celebrate women, celebrate powerful women, mainly thinking of a couple of women in my life. And so it's titled Blossom. And the goal was to capture in this image, not just the beauty of these women, but how such amazing individuals they are and how they give back to their community, they pay it forward and without expecting anything back in return. So this was dedicated to them. This is an example of kind of channeling the negativity around you, the obstacles, into something positive, positive being art. You'll see that if you really think and dig deeper into it, both these artworks have a deeper meaning, and they come from a place of darkness, I would say, but my color palette kind of um, doesn't shout that out. The first one actually is an animation, but I couldn't play it during this presentation. I tried, but technology was not being helpful. So if you are interested in seeing that, you can head over to my Twitter and find it over there. Artists use symbols, sometimes little Easter eggs hidden here and there within their artwork. And I think sometimes we do it subconsciously, sometimes it's more intentional, sometimes it's more apparent. And through this, we share our little experiences. A person like me does it without sharing, without oversharing. And it's almost like that need that you need to express yourself. You need to get it out there, but you also don't want everyone to know your whole personal story, but it's just a way of putting it on paper, not in writing, through drawing. And it's not just the end product that kind of helps with this therapeutic process. It's the whole process of it. Every brush stroke, every draft or sketch helps with this healing process. At least for me, it does. And so what I have learned about myself is that when I was younger, I used to create more spontaneous art, whereas now it's a lot more planned, and where I do multiple sketches and I do drafts and compositions that are detailed. I really think about the color and the palette and the strokes a lot more. And when I do compare the art that I created back then, I say back then, a few years ago to now, I wish I continued to take the same risks that I did back then, and I wish I continued to be as brave. And so that's what I'm trying out right now, to take more risks with my art and to celebrate and not just focus on the negative sides. I forced myself to create pieces like this where I celebrate my achievements, my milestones, goals that I have achieved, and to celebrate others, specifically women. So the first one is, if I had to summarize it in one word, I would say self-love. And the second piece here, I created for the Philippine blockchain event that took place last year. And it's dedicated to the 3 Filipinas in my life. Living in a place like Dubai with so many diverse backgrounds and cultures and people coming together, I have the opportunity to have a lot of Filipino friends. And one thing that I did that I admire about them is that even in moments of, hardships, they somehow seek and follow and spread joy and happiness. And I really, really, really appreciate that about them. Another thing that creating art has helped me with is to learn and grow. So these 2 pieces were created using AI, and I thought that I would be the last person to explore AI and that it was cheating. But I have to say, I've had so much fun with it. It's a lot of prompting and then prompting some more. But I used Midjourney to create both of these, and then I put it in Procreate and add my final touches. And these were both dedicated to my sisters, because I have one sister that has a dog, and I have another sister who has adopted and like rescued and adopted 4 cats. So these were dedicated to my sisters using AI, learning, growing, really putting myself out there and trying out new things. This has to be one of my proudest ones so far. So last year for Women's History Month, I reached out to 6 women artists and asked them if they would like to create a collaborative dynamic NFT. And so if you look closely at this picture on the left, you'll see a lot of different things happening, but this piece is titled Embrace Equity. And so each artist did her part, and we have one layer created by each artist. And so the NFT would kind of evolve as each artist added their piece to it. I absolutely loved doing this because something like this would be very difficult to do in real life, with having these artists from different continents and backgrounds come together to create something physical. For some people, traveling and doing all of that just would not be an option. So I love that I got the chance to do this. And as I was thinking and reflecting on this, I said to myself, I have to do this again this year. Maybe make it an annual uh, thing, an event. So I have reached out to some women artists again. I actually have it on, I just posted it on Twitter. If you identify as a woman and you want to be part in creating this collaborative art piece, to reach out to me. So that's why I have that coming soon for 2024. Maybe I'd say a week and a bit after this conference. I hope that you all get to see what we created this year. So here's a QR code that will take you to my On Cyber gallery. The way that I've organized my gallery is so that half of it is kind of all the work that I have collected over, not all the work, I would say work that that really has inspired me. When I joined the Web3 space, my main goal was to sell art. And so I just wanted to sell art. I wanted to have my art in as many wallets as possible. And then somehow along the way, I ended up collecting more art than selling. So I wanted to also highlight all those artists that I collected work from. So half of my gallery is dedicated to them, to celebrate them. And the other half is my work, both minted and unminted. And that is all. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I would love for you to connect and pop in and say hello. I have my socials over here, and I really look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you and bye.
Hi there, I'm Rainbow Marshall. I'm a teenage artist, author, and advocate, along with so many other things on the autism spectrum. I love to let colors and creating stuff along with making art guide me through life. And I also love the things I'm learning and knowing that I have to respect them in life, such as wildlife, plants, being out in nature, and of course my latest obsession, reading books. I am deeply in love with the book 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and the stories of Greek myths and folklore. And I can really connect with them as a person, knowing that they give me so much inspiration.
Can you please share how did you discover your passion for art and writing?
Well, art and writing, along with the magic of storytelling, has always been a part of my life. And of course, I did get my artistic skill from my dad. And when I was young, I have always loved making art and drawing cute little stories of my own, even based off on the stories I have heard and seen. But I've always wondered to myself, has anyone ever made a story about people like me? And so I decided to make my own stories. And of course, there were moments that big publishers didn't accept my stories due to adultism and lack of open mindedness. But the thing is, I am not giving up so easily, and me and my mom are knocking on the doors really hard, showing what we're capable of, mostly what I'm capable of, and knowing that I can be included in a vast, diverse universe with people like me.
Can you please tell us how has autism inspired your creativity?
Well, the thing with autism is that, yeah, I can be a bit of an oddball sometimes, but I deeply admire being an oddball. And throughout my life, I have been oppressed for who I am and have been forced to be ladylike and more human. And of course, I used to go through a major anxiety crisis for a few years, thinking that if I acted more ladylike and human, I would be accepted. But then I realized that I was hurting myself by not accepting for who I am. And the way how autism has majorly influenced my life is learning from my struggles, challenges, and the heartbreaks I have been through, and just fully embracing what life has to offer, even though I may feel afraid, depressed, too lazy, and completely bored sometimes. But I am very grateful that I have teachers and mostly good friends and family members that'll push me out of my comfort zone, but not in the forceful way, in the very good way. And I'm very happy that I'm accepted for who I am. And I gotta say thank you so much for my parents for creating me.
Can you please share why is Web3 a source of learning and growth?
The reason why it's been such a source of learning and growth for me is because of my wonderful nosy mom always knocking down doors. And 2 years ago, she opened up an account for me, and Web3 has been very, 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 very supportive and respectful, along with being very welcoming towards me. And I have been given various opportunities to exhibit my art, and I still have amazing art projects that I'm planning on publishing and creating on my iPad. And I'm just so grateful that I'm part of a digital community, that I get to make friends with people and also share our thoughts and information and really connect with one another and share our ideas for the world and express ourselves for who we are instead of pretending to be something we're not.
Can you tell us what is audacity in your own words?
Oh my gosh. Audacity. I mean, literally, so much empowerment, daring attitude, and opportunities for women by women across the world, expressing themselves for who they are. And I mean, wow, it's just so amazing. I mean, back then, many years ago, events like these never happened. But nowadays, they are, and women deserve to rule the world. Men have had their share. I mean, bye-bye, boys. Women are gonna take their own stand. I mean, bam, they're knocking down doors.
Can you share important and meaningful individuals in Web3 that have brought you wonderful experiences or discoveries, and tell us why?
Well, there is Flower Girls with Varvara Alai, Nika Yani, Anna Skates, who I see her as my godmama, Women in Tech Museum, and Moon Mars Museum. The reason why I treasure these people so dearly in my heart is because They have given me wonderful opportunities and exposing my art to the whole world and the rest of the entire unknown universe, which is very amazing and welcoming, and I really appreciate that. And I'm just so happy that I'm being exposed and regaining a lot of help from very supportive and respectful people that I owe a lot to. And I I'm just so happy to call them part of my chosen family, and I gotta say thank you so much, you guys.
Now, I've been told that you have donated art before. Why do you do that?
Well, I really do love doing donations and charity for good causes, such as Troglodyte Society in Sierra Leone for the stopping the kidnapping and the rape that goes on with girls of all types, young and old, and Save the Rhinos, which I made a beautiful piece of art as part of a good cause to help an endangered species from going extinct. And of course, Sebastian Alonso, which I made a beautiful piece of art for his new album cover, which he does beautiful songs and amazing singing and music for his album, that he expresses his life through autism and how he is reviving his soul from the pain. And I just gotta say that whenever I have the opportunity to do donations and charity work that help the world and other people in need, I feel very good of myself. And even though I am given a lot of opportunities, and even though I can sometimes be a little bit spoiled, that doesn't mean I don't have responsibility and empathy for others, and I am always looking forward to do things for good causes and to help make this world a better place one step at a time.
As a teen and artist who has opportunities, discoveries, good experiences, but you also have a fair share of challenges and difficulties in society, in school. What would you share with youth at your age who may be facing similar situations?
I just gotta say that youth nowadays, even back then many years ago, have always faced challenges with adultism, pressure from peers, family, and friends, even other adults, and so many other challenges, even discrimination for who they are, what they look like, where they come from, and how they personally identify themselves. I just gotta say, do not let that crap get all over you. And even though the world is gonna turn you down just for being you and for you being yourself, it's not fair, and you gotta take a stand for what's right. And of course, there are gonna be some people who will never support and respect you, but there are gonna be others who will. And you don't need to get praise and attention from everybody. Just look for the praise and attention by those who give you unconditional support, respect, and care. And of course, even in your own school systems, you may never receive support, just like how I did when I was given the lack of education. And I was interviewed by a reporter, who she is really nice, on the Nashville scene, and the story of me and my mom battling the unfair realities in my school system is very important. And I just gotta say thank you to the Nashville scene for supporting and letting my story be heard. And I just gotta say that youth also need to take a stand for themselves, and they cannot let any adult or other person or the entire world go down against them. And they just gotta take a rise. The harder you fall, the higher you are gonna fly.
Could you tell us how art and literature and Web3 can help promote understanding and acceptance of individuals with disabilities, abilities, and different diagnoses?
Well, what I can say is that when it comes to struggling, whether it's based off on your diagnosis, special needs, or disability, and many other factors in life, you just have to find what inspires you and create something wonderful, whether it's a song, soundtrack or a piece of music, a book, or a piece of art, even graffiti can help express how you truly feel and who you are as a human being instead of letting yourself be labelized. And what has really helped me express myself and go up against the cruel reality of society is showing my spiritual strength as an artist on the autism spectrum, and not letting and learning not to let society run all over me, and also advocating for myself and helping others advocate for themselves. It just has to take one tiny whisper to become a giant voice that will be heard and stretched across the entire world. All great voices start with a whisper.
Now, can you share about your hopes and aspirations for the future?
Hey, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, and all y'all streaming services. I am literally making art and stories for people of all skin colors, hair textures, genders, personal identifications of all types from all across the world in various different ways into amazing stories that have to be heard no matter what the age or personality may be, whether it's from near or far, all over the world. Please, you gotta make my stories into wonderful movies or series that'll be known for generations. And it's important that I have partnership with you because I can help give out amazing suggestions and ideas of who can be included for these stories, because I want all types of people to be included instead of just one certain specific group. And yeah, it's important that young kids, especially if they're watching channels like PBS Kids and or other services with their families, should learn about diversity and inclusion of all types, even though it's not going to be the same, but that's okay. And it's important that we also express our flaws, and being flawless is just a myth. And yeah, let's bring inclusion and equity, people. What are we waiting for? Let's go! And another thing I would like to mention is that when I continue to grow up as a person for who I am, I really want my stories to be exposed more, and I really want to be a part among the giants who give us so many inspiration. And I not only do I want to walk among big people who have a lot of fame and inspiration for the world, but I also want to help give inspiration to all types of people, and also want to let them know that their voices can be heard and understood over time. And that's what's important, that diversity matters instead of staying on one topic. My mom also says that since I love to express myself and demand for inclusion and diversity, including equity, I should be my very own politician. And I agree with her. I mean, yeah, she is very right on that part. And of course, for my future, I want to have my own petition to say these people of all types deserve to have rights to be included. And also, I want to go places and travel a lot to spread my voice. And number 3, to have the chance for my dad to live with me, so we won't have to be far away from each other, and that we need each other so much. And I love him, and I gotta thank him for giving me my artistic creative skill. And yeah, I'm gonna be going places one day, people. See ya. Oh, and one more thing. Nathania and Stephanie from Audacity, you girls just rule so much, and thank you so much for the audacity you've thrown into my life. You bring so much value into our lives.
I can't believe that, Audacity Summit is finally here. So for the people who don't know me, I'm Teresa Melvin. Hello, everyone. I'm a 14-year-old artist, and I'm super excited to introduce myself as the creator, the creative mind behind Ava Ramona. And that's my two original characters, which I created once I was like 9 or 11. And I also created and am the host of Art and Chat, which is a YouTube live series featuring artists from around the world. So I'll talk about that more in a second. And I've had the pleasure of being awarded Creator of the Year by MetAms, an international Web3 event in Amsterdam. And that was like super exciting for me. And I can't believe I'm getting the opportunity to speak here. I want to share with you guys my story, how I started out as an artist, and how I went into the journey of becoming a digital artist in the Web3 space. So before we jump too ahead, let me tell you a story about when I was 5 years old. Um, Art has always been a part of my life ever since I was young, and that's thanks to my artistic parents. I was always like surrounded by paints and canvases, and even as a toddler, I would use oil pastels and like paint color pencils to draw and tell my stories. And especially through characters, I loved drawing characters, and that's the part of me that has always sticked. And at just 5 years old, my artworks were featured in a popular Indian movie, and that sparked my passion just at that young age for creating characters and stories that resonated with me and others. So every time I create a new artwork, um, I'm thinking of not only how does it connect with, myself, but how can I express myself to others, and how to like connect with others through my artworks. So I enjoy experimenting with different art mediums like gouache, Prismacolor, acrylic paints, watercolors. And since I was 9 years old, I ventured into digital art using tools like Procreate, Adobe Fresco, and Flip-a-Clip. And I've also heard of Procreate Dreams, so I'm starting to step into that, and I want to learn more about what Procreate Dreams is all about. So, how did I get into Web3? In 2021, which was like the COVID times, we were all stuck in our houses, I remember. And I was just drawing all day in my sketchbook, in my iPad. And that's when my dad introduced to me what NFTs and Web3 was. And that really ignited my passion for art. I felt like there was a way forward with creating more art and doing that for the rest of my life, or exploring different things with art. So I've gotten inspired by many projects like, Cool Cats and Robotos. And I wanted to connect with and inspire fellow young artists in the Web3 community. So over 2+ years, I worked hard to improve my skills and learn professional tools, and do collaborations with renowned Web3 projects. And my presence in the Web3 space, it really opened doors for me to amazing opportunities, and that made me like a confident and happy artist. Um, I was able to find my voice in the Web3 space and find people like me, kid artists, um, professional creative entrepreneurs. It's really like a very diverse community, but we're all interested in about how the future will evolve in this digital realm. So far, I've created my project, Ava Ramona, and to create that project, I wanted to, learn about how to be, established as a creative entrepreneur, and how to make an NFT project. And yeah, the journey has been truly magical. So far, I've created and sold over 1,000 one-of-a-kind artworks in a lot of marketplaces like Super Rare, Foundation, Zora, OpenSea, and Campfire. And next week, I'm thinking of doing an artwork in Tezos. So that's going to be exciting. Um, so far in the Web3 space, I've had the pleasure of being featured as an artist in many IRL and virtual events like this one, including NFT NYC, Make a Foundation International, and with Flower Girls NFT, Miss So Cool Girls, and so many more. I was able to collaborate with many projects. Um, And additionally, I've had my artworks exhibited at Blockchain Summit London, Basel Miami, Dubai Expo, Supermint NFTLA, NFT Bali, basically kind of all over the world, I guess. And as a speaker, I was able to grow my skill as a speaker. I used to be, an introverted kid. So you would think, how did an introverted kid evolve into, being confident enough to speak in front of many people through the digital space or IRL. And through going to many Twitter spaces and IRL events, I realized that more than, being perfect about, the phrases I say or being perfect about my artwork, it's more about sharing my experiences with others and learning from others, which is like the most important thing that I've learned. And as a speaker, I've been to all of these events, and apart from my artistic endeavors, I'm also passionate about teaching other kid artists. And that's why I've created tutorial videos on Instagram and, small clips on YouTube about Procreate. And I have a video on Biddle, which is an educational platform for kids from Miso Cool Girls. And you'll see more tutorial videos coming in my YouTube channel pretty soon. I also have a YouTube live series called Art and Chat, which I mentioned earlier. And through the YouTube live series, my goal is to connect with amazing artists from around the world and, get their insights about, the future of art and how their life is as, a creative professional. And and that's also how I can connect with others through making art, because in the YouTube live, I create art and they create art, and we basically talk about that process. So it's really exciting. And I'm planning another YouTube live pretty soon. I also, thanks to Hug, I've also created an Ava Ramona jigsaw puzzle, and that's in their shop. So I'm really grateful for that, to see my characters more than just becoming 2D characters online, but also as like real physical items with the power of digital art. So that's really exciting. And more about Ava Ramona, I created that 1K generative art collection in AVAX blockchain in August of 2023. And that's like an exclusive collection of 1,000 limited editions. And through that project, I want to introduce to the world my unique characters, Ava and Ramona. These two really shaped my journey as an artist, and I was able to express my emotions, my passions through these fictional characters. So these characters were made when I was 9 and 11 years old, so they've stuck with me for that long of a time. And with the Ava Ramona project, I'm donating 10% of each primary sale to Adobe for Kids. And that's an initiative dedicated to providing digital devices for deserving children. So my goal with Ava Ramona is to spread this opportunity to other kids who might be better artists than me, and give them a chance to create as well. So I also want to talk about, my art workshop and solo exhibition. And my first solo exhibition happened last year in November, and that was like truly one of the highlights of 2023. I was able to showcase my artworks from the last 2 years, my digital artworks, in the exhibition in a cafe. And at that same place, I was able to create an art workshop for kids that were my age, younger, and that was super exciting. And in the art workshop IRL, I teach kids about how to create a very simple character. And I was thinking how everyone, all the age ranges from like a toddler to a teen, could be interested in it. But what I learned was, no matter what age, art will forever be a way to connect to each other and share our experiences and ideas. And seeing everyone's finished artworks of the characters, I was amazed at how many different interpretations each kid had. And hearing every kid's story and personality behind their drawing, it reminded me of when I started drawing my own characters. And that was, it really made me more passionate to want to do more art workshops. So I might do some more in the future, and I'm really excited about that. And as a teenager and, going to school, I have to manage multiple things, including homework. So being organized was very much, a needed thing if I wanted to stay active in art and social media and also enjoy the process. That's an important thing. So my dad introduced me to new tools that, I wasn't familiar with. I thought they were a bit complicated, but they were, Notion and Trello. But over the years, as I started using these tools, planning my projects, and, my tasks on them, I guess it really made me more like organized, because I'm not really an organized person. But yeah, it really helped me with that process with time management. So every day now I follow two things of high priority, and that helps me solve one problem at a time. So if you're someone, struggling with many tasks, many projects at a time, taking things slow and completing one thing at a time is really useful. And as an artist, I would say it doesn't matter whether you complete an artwork, a final artwork, posted or minted. It not like every day. I think the important thing is you need to create something every day, whether it's a small doodle, some scribble scrabble, or if it's like a very colorful artwork. I would say just creating every day, so your sketchbook is filled with crazy ideas, thoughts, doodles, whatever comes to mind. And that's how I create my art. Whenever I have a gap, or I feel like I want to draw something, I might see something in a movie and I'm like, oh, I want to draw that. Then why don't you draw it? So I would say whenever you feel that spark, just note it down as much as possible. And that's how you're able to like grow your ideas into creating final artworks. So some doodles, some sketches, that might turn into final artworks, or that might just stay in your sketchbook. But I enjoy both processes. Um, and I believe that, our brains are like a storehouse of creativity and imaginations, but you have to keep a practice of documenting these ideas into a sketchbook or a Notion, whatever tool you use, whenever that sparks. And one example I had was, in my sketchbook, one day I woke up and I had like a crazy dream. My first instinct was to draw it in my sketchbook. So it might be it's very messy sketches, but now I'll remember that dream for a long time. And that even might inspire me to create more future final artworks. And for me, Ava Ramona, my two characters, Ava and Ramona, that used to be, just a figment of my imagination. But by creating them on paper, on digital art, and with the power of Web3 art, and lots of support and empowerment from friends and mentors in Web3, I was able to make Ava Ramona a real thing, a real project, which I could, evolve with. Um, so these are my two, key rules, is to experiment and create every day. And these are the two things that make me happy and might inspire you in the future as well. So come out of your comfort zone, try different mediums, try new tools. And if you're an introverted person like me, and I'm able to speak today and connect with more people, I think anyone can do it. I think anyone can do what they are passionate about and what they love if, you make it into reality. So you might know I'm not present on social media, 24/7, but what I've learned is it's okay to go at your own pace and create what you love. The core thing, posting on social media or being an influencer is not just to keep in mind that you have to keep on creating art, but more like create what you love is the most important thing. Never lose that like touch of creating what you love through your artworks. And yeah, that's how I guess I try to avoid, burnout of creating a lot of artworks. I'm just at my own pace, doing what I love, and, slowly growing into maybe my future art career. So yeah, my all-time mission, I would say, is to learn every day and share every day whatever I learn. And that's a key thing. I'm not trying to hide anything. I want to share my experiences and my story with other kid artists, basically anyone. And this is how I learn from others as well. So I really love, doing these talks and hearing these talks from other people. So what am I doing now and what am I doing in the future? I know I was not able to sell out my entire Ava Ramona collection, but I will be donating, part of my sales to Adobe for Kids. And I'm also working on a portrait series in Foundation doing portraits. And I've done my first portrait of Betty, founder of Dead Fellas. And with that portrait series, I want to raise fund for the Adobe for Kids initiative as well. And something super exciting is I'll be interviewing some amazing artists in my Art and Chat YouTube live sessions. And I'm super excited for that. I've been talking to an amazing artist, and I think you guys will be surprised. But yeah, I have some artists in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that. I'm also, exploring different things in digital art these days. So I'm planning more art tutorials to come, and some interesting collaborations, which I'll announce soon. And as I said, my first artwork in Tezos will be coming soon, probably next week. Also, I'm experimenting with a lot of like digital and physical AI artworks that this year. That's my main focus, to expand, I guess, my art into a lot of different mediums. I think that's important. If you're in art or in any field, experiment with different things, try new things, see what sticks, see what doesn't stick. So I'm really interested to explore ideas and art which are connected to fine art and tech. And I think that's the way we're going to move forward. Technology really enhances, I guess, an artist or whoever you are, a creator. It gives you, a place to shine or connect with others with the same experiences as yours. And that's why I really love this space. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. I really appreciate it. And if you want to connect with me, you can find my Ava Ramona collection, which is www.avaramona.art. And you can follow me on my socials, Instagram and Twitter, Teresa Melvin Art. So thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. I couldn't be more grateful. And I'm so, grateful for, the virtual gallery I have now of Ava Ramona through Audacity. So thank you so much. It's like a dream come true.
What's going on, y'all? Happy Saturday. Good morning. Well, good morning for the East Coast folks. I know we have like a worldwide audience, which is really cool. I was just looking at the citizen map a minute ago, and holy crappies, man, this is huge. So big congratulations to Natanya and Stephanie for putting together another badass event. It is a labor of love, I know. It's an honor to be here with you guys. I'm Heather Parody. I have 19 minutes now, 19 minutes to share with you a huge, huge, huge topic that I'm very, very passionate about, which is showing up in a digital landscape, more human, more lit up, more alive, especially those of you who have a message on your heart that was placed there. I believe by God, whatever you want to call it, there's some kind of calling on your life, and it stirs you and it moves you for a reason. It's not there to torture you. Believe it or not, sometimes it feels like a little bit, because you have this thing that you're very, very passionate about, whether it's your art or your business or the nonprofit that you want to start. And man, those suckers, it won't leave you alone, will it? Sometimes it keeps you up at night. And there's so many different avenues and different things that you can do. And a lot of times people get stuck in the dreaming phase, in the what if phase, and the wishing phase because of overwhelm. And honestly, fear, a lot of fear. Who am I to use my voice? Who am I to start a conference? Who am I to have the audacity to believe that I, little old me, I'm country, y'all, you don't even know, little old me can make any kind of impact in this world? Is there space for me? Is there room for me? There's so many other people who are doing what I want to do, so many other artists, so many other storytellers, so many other conference leaders. Is there a need for me? Now, I know there's a ton of folks coming in who are going to share some really powerful stories. I'll give you a lot of motivation, a lot of empowerment. What I wanted to do in now our 17 minutes together, I'm keeping an eye on it, leaders, y'all, I'm watching, is I wanted to give you some very tactical things that you can do today that will move you forward in your digital presence, in your digital identity, and the thing that you're wanting to start. And I can speak with conviction and confidence about this topic, not only because have I done it myself, and I'm currently wading through the water myself. I am a practitioner, but also in my business, this is what I do is I work with folks, not just women, I work with men and women to bring digital products online. And there are 4 things that have come up time and time again working with women specifically. And they're going to make you uncomfortable. And it's going to get your feathers all ruffled. And I don't know, you might need to go get some coffee and get a Snuggie blanket because what I'm about to tell you, it ain't easy to hear. All right. Number 1, this comes up over and over and over and over and over again. This is specifically with women. I work with men and women. Women, this comes up. We're very passionate. We have a lot that we're here to give this world. And so our tendency is to want to throw up everything, right? And give it all and feel this pressure to express all of our passion in one go. Well, I this and this and this and this and this. I wrote here, go narrow so that you can go wide. Go narrow so that you can go wide. And friend, it hurts my heart just saying it because I have so many dreams, so many things that I want to do. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. If you read my journal, you'd be like, who the F do you think you are, girlfriend? I have so much that I want to do. But I have seen through some successes online and through some failures online, a lot more failures, a lot, that the times that I have chose to go narrow over going wide, I've been able to push the ball forward way faster. Now, tactically, what this looks like is it means narrowing in on one particular thing just for now, and going hard on it. What happens is when you can do that, you build traction to be able to launch other ideas out there. You don't have to do everything at once. You shouldn't do everything at once. You can't do everything at once. Pick the thing closest to you right now and understand and believe that all those other things, all those other ideas, all those other passions, you're not saying no to them. They're on the sideline and they will come in when it is their time. All right. I put here that it's an insecurity of ours to want to do everything all at once. I was just on a call with a brilliant woman yesterday. And she was sharing that she feels like she needs to give and add more to her service and her product and so forth, because she's afraid people aren't getting value from her or she's not giving enough. And I'm like, girlfriend, what's happening is you're acting from a place of fear and insecurity that what you're bringing to the table isn't enough. So you overwhelm people with so many things. So that we have to call it out for what it is. It's an insecurity that we have to do everything at once. There was a woman I interviewed named Nikki Saunders. Look her up, badass, just a complete badass. And she said on our interview that we don't need to think all about what we want to be known for. That's big. Think about what you can be trusted with right now. I want to be known for this and this and this and this. What can you be trusted with right now? All right. What is in your hand right now? Sorry, I'm looking at my notes because I can't remember what I was going to say. Lord Jesus, I got 13 minutes. I got to keep moving. Go narrow so that you can go wide. All right. So you got this audacious dream. What is the narrow part of that right now that you could focus on and execute on? Okay. I know that's not fun and it's not the sexy thing to do, but if you want traction, that is the answer. I'm sorry. All right. Number 2, women specifically. Again, I help folks bring their digital stuff or bring their work and make it digital. This comes up for women specifically over and over and over again. But I don't want people to think I'm calling myself an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm just little old lowly me, I'm a servant. I'm a servant to everybody. Okay, cool. I'm sure you are. That's not serving anyone. All right. This fear of calling yourself an expert, we just had to go through, y'all, I'm just giving you some examples because it's true. You can tell me I'm passionate because I'm getting more Southern. Going through a woman's website the other day, she wanted us to remove everything that said expert on it or expertise. She wanted to remove those words. And I understand and I respect that you want to not present yourself at a level that you're not from a knowledge perspective or an ability perspective. But also, I'm so sick of working with women who are afraid to step into what they know. Okay. Men don't have a problem with that. They're like, when they need to sit down, you know what I mean? Like they probably need to be questioning their expertise, but they don't mind. They don't mind because they understand the position of power when you can speak and say, I am good at this. I know what I'm talking about. Doesn't mean you're perfect, right? So I'm not saying you need to call yourself an expert by any means, but understand this deep fear of not stepping into your expertise. And here's a very tactical way that you can do this. Okay, I'm not saying for you to go on your website and like, I'm an expert at watercolor and you just started yesterday. I'm not saying that. What you can do is speak your story and speak with conviction on it. That's all you have to do. I was working with a lady a couple of weeks ago. Gosh, I should have done that breathing thing again. I'm getting hyper. Get grounded, girl. Get grounded. All right. I was speaking with a woman the other day, and she worked in women's health, specifically fertility. And she was getting this imposter syndrome of like, I'm not an expert in this space. I don't have degrees and I don't have all this stuff. But she lived through it and she was able to see a lot of results from the thing that she was teaching. And I said, friend, no one is asking you to call yourself a doctor. No one is asking you to call yourself to do that. What they're asking is for your story and for some conviction that what you're saying is true if it's true. How much money are you saving people by sharing your experience? How much time are you saving people? Right? How much heartache from them having to go research all this stuff because you've lived through it and you walked through it. And all you're doing is sharing what happened to you. And from that grounded, convicted place, people are drawn to that. And this is something as women, historically, generalized statement, has been a little bit more of a difficult thing that I've seen in my experience for women to step into. A conviction that you know what you've walked through. And I can tell you about that, right? All right, so number 1, go narrow so you can go wide. All right, all these ideas you have are great. Pick one and go in deep. Go in deep. 2, you don't have to be, a doctor, but don't be afraid that you're an expert in your own story, your own conviction, and you can speak from a very grounded place and a strong place from that, okay? Number 3, y'all know I got to do this one. Anybody who rolls in my circle already knows what this one is. Launch messy. Stephanie and Natanya are in the back, and they're probably like, praise of Jesus. Launch messy. Launch messy. There is no way that you're going to figure out what your art is, what your business is, what your platform is, without first, through trial and error, figuring out what it's not. And that only comes through putting it out there, playing with it, and letting it show you what it is. We get in our ego and we think, oh, I'm creating this. This is all me. No, that thing's a living entity and it's going to work with you, but it wants to be respected, right? And taken care of. I know this sounds weird and woo. I usually have the book with me right here. It's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Game changing, absolutely game changing. But the idea that our ideas are calling, are living entities, and if we don't do something with it, it'll move on to somebody else. I have a friend who's convinced he came up with the Uber idea. He's like, I came up with that idea. I'm like, no, you didn't. He's like, yes, I did. Well, you didn't do nothing with it, right? Launch messy. This is kind of a bold statement, but I'm willing to make it, and I'm willing to stand by it, is that this need to perfect is extremely selfish. Extremely. It is all about you. It is about your ego. It's about how people perceive you. And friend, that's not coming from a place of judgment. It's coming from a place of deep empathy because I've been there. I want to control what people think about me because I want you to like me. I want you to think that I know what I'm talking about. I want you to like my freaking reel. You know what I mean? I want to control your perception of me. So I'm going to hyper focus on stuff and nitpick it and put out less, right? That's what we do. This fixation on perfectionism is all about you. It's insanely selfish, right? People are not paying attention to you at all. Like, if y'all get into marketing, you'll know this is true. It's hard to get people's attention. You can wave your cute little flag 247 and people are like, what? Huh? What? Nobody's paying attention. They're so distracted that you can put out work messy and imperfect, and nobody cares. And if they do care, they're bored AF, okay? They need to get out of freaking life. Nobody is paying attention. You can launch messy, all right? I need to move on along because now I got 6 minutes. So what have we talked about so far? This is tactical things I've seen come up over and over and over again with women who have big hearts, big ideas, a big calling on their life. And these are the things, I swear to God, the conversations I have on a weekly basis over and over and over again with these women about the resistance that keeps them from putting their work out there. Go narrow. I'm going to say it again. Go narrow on your idea. I already forgot the second one. Lean into your story. Own what you know. Launch messy. Here's the last one. Are you ready? I'm circling it. Go more human and speak to core wounds. All right, I got 5 minutes, so this is going to be heavy AF, but I don't care. We have a gift, an intuitive healing gift. Now, I have what they call masculine energy. I'm very type A. I'm very driven. I'm very organized. And I get offended when people start telling me that I'm a feeler and I have this next. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean, Paul? Because I just had therapy yesterday. And my therapist said, when did you learn that feeling didn't mean that you were strong? And I've had this narrative in my head for years, and I'm 37 and I'm trying to break it, that my intuitive nature, that my DNA, that my stance, my presence in this world as a woman is not weakness, that it is a power that we have to start leaning into. Because when I think about being audacious and being equal to men and having the seat at the table and all this stuff, my tendency, and I'm telling on myself, friend, my tendency is to think I need to mimic the energy of men versus embrace and embody the energy of a woman. And part of that is the ability, part of it, not all of it, part of it is the ability to speak to core wounds of people directly. We can get to the heart of a matter like no one else. We can see things, we can feel things, and we can speak things. So with your art, with your music, with your business, with your conference, with your book, with whatever you're doing, what is the underlying thing that no one is saying that you have been uniquely positioned in this world to say and to speak? We don't need to run from it, hide, be bashful. And friend, I love technology. I love these tools, but nothing is going to take the place of your physical voice, your physical, beautiful face, and your physical energy, right? I'm not sure in 10 years that any of us will ever meet, like physically. I'm sure at some point this will be the norm. That's cool, right? We will always need to see your eyeballs and hear your voice and feel that human. And women, a lot of times we want to hide from cameras. It's funny because we do a lot of building out of things for folks. When I ask a man for his photo, I immediately get an email back. I'm still waiting. I've been waiting for weeks for some of my female clients to send me their photo to make a quick video. Now that sounds crazy to some of us in this room because we're creators and we're makers, right? That's a reality for a lot of women. We need to see your face, hear your voice. All right. So I know I'm out of time here. I just want to encourage you that there is a reason that something is poking at you, poking at your heart. It's a calling on your life. You have every right to pursue it with full abandonment. Please learn from my mistakes. Go narrow at the beginning. Step into your expertise. Launch messy and boldly speak to the underlying core human need in this world, because you as a woman have been uniquely positioned to speak to that. Love you. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Natanya. Y'all are badasses. And I'm going to roll on out of here. I don't know how to get out of here, but I'm going to try. Maybe I just take my camera off and I leave. I hope this worked because if I was just talking to myself all day, I had a good time.